A little bit, yeah. Normally what we do, or what I've done, is we've driven about an hour away in personal vehicles because it's too snowy, and so we drive to Pueblo, which is an hour away from Colorado Springs, or Denver, which is an hour away from Colorado Springs, and we'd go out there to practice and scrimmage 3 times a week. So this is a little bit different.
How's it been like the transition from here to Baton Rouge?
It's been awesome. Everybody talks about the people from the South, and it's all true. It's the people down here are so nice. The fans are awesome. We get fans at all our games, all our preseason games. So that's really cool. And it's been cool to make relationships with them and see the same people over and over. So and then the food's great. No complaints there.
You pitched against LSU in 2021. Was that the COVID year?
Yes, ma'am. Or right after.
Right after, so you didn't get the real experience here.
Yeah, but I've been knowing that it's a week away or 8 days away. A lot of reflection on that experience, and I won a conference championship last year, and that was up there with it. Just opening up my college career out here was one of the coolest things I've ever gotten to do. So I'm looking forward to being on the other side of it with however many fans are going to be here. So I'm looking forward to it.
How's it going for you? Like, how do you feel right now as far as where you're at and what you're able to do out there on the mound right now?
I'm comfortable with where I'm at. I'm happy with where I'm at. Just trying to enjoy every day. Take it one day at a time. Enjoy being in the locker room with the guys, because I know that this is probably going to be the last year of college baseball for me, and after this, it's not going to be the same. So on the field, I'm really comfortable with where I'm at, with where we're at, but off the field, literally just trying to enjoy the boys every day, because it's a blessing to be with them.
Command and control's good, though?
Yes, sir.
Feel like you got, 3-4 pitches good?
4 pitches.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Jay was saying pitching is the priority with you, but what's the plan as far as being able to hit a little bit too?
It's dynamic. So it's a lot of taking swings 3 to 4 times a week, and kind of feeling it out. So if I don't feel good one day, or if I don't feel pretty much 90 to 100%, I'm not going to take swings, just because we know how important it is to throw. We got a lot of guys that can hit, but I think the priority is to go out there and pitch every weekend. So that's the goal right now. We're going to try to get ready to hit, but priority is being ready on the mound.
How much pressure do you feel now that you just don't have to catch anymore?
I miss it. I got sent a video of me catching yesterday, and I didn't realize how big I looked back there, but I miss managing a pitching staff and all that. But I wouldn't say it was pressure behind the dish. It was just going out there and being able to do, play the game that I've been playing since I was 4 years old or whatever. And now it's a little bit more business-like, I think, but which I think I can appreciate. But I miss catching.
What is up with these monster catchers? You said Jared in here as well.
Yeah, he's a big guy, really big guy.
When you say business-like, what do you sort of mean by that?
What I've done on the baseball field, I think, before I came here was a lot of just go out there and have fun. I worked really hard to be good at it, and I got good at it, I would say, but just going out there and having fun with it. Catching was something that I did since I was 8 years old or something like that. I grew up catching, and if I had come to a program like this out of high school, they wouldn't have let me catch, I think, because of my size. So I was blessed to go to Air Force where they needed a catcher, and I filled that role, and they needed me to catch, so I just kept doing it.
Did you pitch and catch in Little League and middle school and high school and
Yeah.
travel ball and stuff like that too?
Yeah, I really started pitching seriously probably my junior year of high school, but before that it was just hopping up on the mound and having fun, but I've always caught.
Thacker also said he kind of got started catching as well. Is there something to that? Do you feel like you get a better eye, maybe a better understanding of the zone?
I think understanding the game, definitely. Understanding it from both sides, because calling your own game, managing a pitching staff, like you can understand the psychology of it all from the catching side. I think not better necessarily than the pitching side, but differently. And so you can just use both of those. And then, purely from the movement side of it, like Thatcher has a short arm action, I have a short arm action, and you can see the catching side of it a little bit. You can see that Will Helmer's played third base, when you watch him pitch too. So I think, purely from like the movement patterning and that kind of side of it, like I think there's something to just being athletic on the mound and developing in that way.
Do you feel like you've become, I guess, more athletic on the mound since you've got here and started working with Coach Johnson?
Yeah, I've definitely gotten a better understanding of my body, and I don't think there have been any huge movement changes, but like understanding how my body moves as a whole on the mound. Because when I came in here, I definitely understood how my body moved a lot better from the hitting side than on the pitching side. I just hopped up on the mound and threw the ball as hard as I could when I pitched, and now we've been doing a lot of drills and stuff like that, fall through now, that have helped me understand my body, and with that, understand what, movement changes I need to make.
What has your relationship been like with Coach West so far?
I think the best way to put it is, God put him in my life to, develop me as a pitcher, as a human being, and I've been with him for 6 months or whatever it is, and God's put a lot of people in my life, but him specifically, being able to talk to him about pitching and develop, professionally and just develop myself, it's been a huge blessing. You can see it on the mound, but I think the maturity side has gotten a lot better, and like understanding, what makes me me, and how to lead and stuff like that. Just getting more comfortable with myself, understanding myself better, all that. Like he's helped me understand that a lot better, which has been awesome.
What have you really learned from him, especially when it comes to stuff like the TrackMan and the force plate mounts and all that sort of stuff? Yeah,
this is a complete 180 pretty much from where I've been. We didn't have access to TrackMan, obviously not force mounts, Edgertronic, mocap. We didn't have access to any of that, and he understands all of it to the highest degree I've ever talked with anybody about. So I'm a guy who wants to know the why and the how rather than just the what. So I'll ask him a lot about that kind of thing, and really, dive into the details of it about tunneling and pitch design and stuff like that, and like just trying to understand what makes me good and what makes my stuff good and where I need to go with my stuff, but also understand what makes Grant Taylor good, what makes Thatcher Hurd good, and where they need to go. Like, so that's been really beneficial.
What's an example of how that stuff has sort of helped you sort of understand what makes you a good pitcher, or how it's actually improved you so far? Yeah,
I came in here with a gyro slider, a pitch that I've been toying with throughout my college career. It hasn't been the same. I threw one my freshman year, a different one my sophomore year, and then I threw a different one over the summer last year. And I came in here with a plan of how I was going to get better. I had an idea of what I needed to do. And he showed me the data from the first bullpen, and it's been pretty consistent, but it's been, or I should say, the pitch when it's on has been pretty consistent, but like I've developed the consistency of it because I understand what I need to do more often with it, and I understand how my fingers come off the ball, that kind of thing. And so understanding like how movement patterns create the data, especially with my slider, that's been really cool.
What's your best strength? Is it location or is it pitch variation?
I would say, man. I would say competing, being able to get into situations and get out of them. But in terms of like actually pitching and throwing the ball, I would say being able to command my stuff, all 4 pitches, pretty consistently. And if I don't have one pitch, being able to go to another pitch, like the 2-seam and the 4-seam, for example, that's been the two seam has been a work in progress throughout the fall and winter. So and it's gotten a lot more consistent now than it was when I came in here. But yeah, I would say being able to command all four of them pretty consistently, and being able to lean on one pitch or three pitches if I don't have the fourth.
Solid change.
Yes, sir.
Bryce Collins was telling us that each pitcher got like a book or something. What book did you get, and what have you learned from it so far?
So Coach West has he's got a number of books that he leans on in terms of the mental side of the game, and so I want to say Bryce read it last year or 2 years ago, and he had it written on his glove last year, but I think he reread it, and so I read it in the fall over Thanksgiving break or something like that, and talked to Wes about it, and literally kept reading, and that's how most of our pitchers, have been. Ty, Grant, Bryce, we're all really cerebral guys, I think, and so we that's kind of the culture that Wes has created and that we've created a little bit. So it's been cool to be able to kind of speak in the same language about all that kind of thing, about competing in the mental side of the game.
Do you remember the name of the book?
That one, there's been a few, but I think that one was Relentless
Okay.
by Tim Grover.
You know who Todd Peterson is, LSU baseball pitcher?
I know I've seen the clip of him Coach, I hit dingers or whatever. Yeah, I've seen that one a few times.
So you're kind of living that dream now, right?
Mhm.
Like his dream, every pitcher's dream, I guess. What do you think of that as far as a pitcher? And I'm sure all the other pitchers love to talk to you about getting plate appearances and stuff. I mean, is that always just been part of your game? Is it something that you really appreciate and don't take for granted? How do you view it at that?
It's a blessing to be able to hit and pitch. I've grown up hitting, and I started pitching more recently. I grew up hitting and pitching, but my sophomore year of high school, I didn't pitch at all. I wasn't good enough, so grew into my body and started throwing hard enough basically to pitch my junior year, and that's kind of my story on the mound. But I came into college. When I committed, I thought I was going to be a catcher, and didn't think I was going to pitch. And then I, started throwing harder, got better command of my stuff, and started basically just growing into my body on the pitching side. And since then, it's been. I feel like I've been living out a lot of kids' dreams, to be honest. Because my freshman year, I caught 8 innings and then closed the game in the 9th. It's unheard of, I feel like now, but it's something that I pride and try to keep up with every day, and I'm gonna try to keep doing it as long as I can, just because it's a kid's game. Just trying to enjoy it.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. Is it something that you want to keep a part of your game?
Absolutely.
You talk about that you grew into your body kind of later. How did you grow throughout high school then, physically?
I want to say I started growing my freshman year of high school. I want to say I was 5'9", 5'10" at the beginning of my freshman year. I know at the end of my freshman year I was 6'1", and I was about 160 pounds. And my junior year, I think I was 6'5", 230, and maybe 220, something like that. But and since then, but it wasn't all it wasn't lean as much as it is now. And so since then, especially my freshman year at Air Force, growing in my body, getting into the weight room, and just learning how my body moved, mostly in the box, but obviously it's helped on the mound as well.
What led to your NIL initiative, Folds of Honor? How did you decide on that in that direction?
I knew that coming here I wanted to do something. Folds of Honor is it's an organization that's pretty heavily involved, Air Force baseball, works with them a lot. The woman who runs the South Texas branch, Diane Nemechek, her son, I was in mechanical engineering with him last year, and he went to Air Force, or he's a senior at Air Force now. Played baseball there his freshman year, so it's a personal thing for a lot of people. But we had we had two baseball players pass away in the last couple of years. 2018 grad Travis Wilkie wore number 20, and he would have been a 2023 grad. Would be graduating this year. Nick Duran, he passed away last 2 summers ago. And so Travis Wilkie graduated, went to pilot training, and I think it was in 2019 or 2020. He was flying in a T-38, doing a formation landing next to his best friend, and they clipped wings, and he basically flipped over, landed on the top of the plane, and passed away on impact. And Nick Duran, he owned a prop plane, loved it, and he was flying home, crash landed, and died. That was in Cleburne, Texas, and that's where Air Force baseball is opening up this year. So I knew both of those guys. Travis Wilkie I met on my first visit to Air Force. And yeah, I mean, he was a lively dude. He was crazy, but you could tell he loved life, loved the military, and his wife is flying A-10s right now. But that's why I wear number 20. And they're pretty involved with Folds of Honor. His wife is, and Coach Kaz at Air Force. And so I basically asked Kaz, I asked the boys at Air Force, like, I need to do something. I want to do something. I want to give back, because the military has been such a big piece for me. And Kaz was basically immediately like, do Folds of Honor, because that's a special organization with special people, and they have a special mission. And so I reached out to them and came up with that.
Assuming you had the appointment to go to the academy, I mean, you took all that. It must not have been an easy decision to leave because of that.
Yeah. I'd like to say it was the easiest decision of my life to go to the academy and the hardest decision of my life to leave, especially with a bond like that. I mean, I knew Nick pretty well. I wouldn't say I was one of his best friends. And I was actually playing summer ball when he died. Like, I had seen him a week before. I went off to summer ball, and then I got that call one morning that he had died, and it was just, a gut punch. And, there were people that were a lot closer to him than I was. And so it's the reality of it, but my best man's there. My best friends are there. My wedding party is at the Air Force Academy right now. And my roommate is, for the past 2 years, is going to be a combat rescue officer, do some awesome stuff. And the reality of it is they might, pass in the line of duty. So it's, that's something that you obviously have to agree to when you go there. And that's a big bond that you have to walk away from. So it was a tough decision.
Did you used to dream of being a fighter pilot? You look a little tall now to fit into a cockpit.
Yeah, I grew up, and the reason I went to Air Force and didn't, pass up on my commitment there and go somewhere like this is because I wanted to be a fighter pilot so bad out of high school. I mean, everybody's seen Top Gun and knows how cool that stuff is, but really, was a reality for me that I could do that. So I wanted to fly F-16s, F-15s, I didn't know what. In high school, I just wanted to fly something fast and realized that I would be too big about my freshman year. So the goal this time last year was to graduate and fly C-17s. Yeah, I mean, still an option down the road, but yeah, it was tough to walk away from.
A little slower. C-17.
Yeah, but they're honestly, they're just as cool, just in a different way.
Are they the Galaxy?
No, the Glowmaster, the C5 Galaxy.
Sorry.
What would your Top Gun name be?
Oh man, they don't.
Slider.
Yeah, Slider, love it. I've been told I look like him. I don't see it, but that's something they give to you. So I don't think you really have a choice. It's something like you go to pilot training and screw up and make a fool out of yourself. You're getting the name based on that. So there's some cool ones. One of the guys, one of the officers I was really close with was named Dutch. I think it's cool. It's an acronym for something. I never asked him what. Another guy was named Diesel, which is really cool. If you ask Wes, he'd probably say Purple Thunder, but that's a little different now.
Any more questions?
You're married?
Me?
Yeah.
No.
In your wedding party?
His future wedding party.
Yeah, my future wedding party. Yeah.
Are you a better hitter or a better pitcher?
I'd say right now, better pitcher. A little bit ahead on that side. Just got to see where it goes.
Do you think you were mentally stronger at Air Force or here, or about the same?
You don't have a choice there. With the stuff you did, like I remember the first day of basic training, my parents just dropped me off in our car and said bye, and I didn't get to hug them or anything. It was just like I just jumped out of the car. They gave me a mask, and I had to walk up and like get my blood taken and a bunch of stupid stuff that was like that was one of the worst days of my life. But you don't have a choice there, and it's not like it's buds. Like it's not that intense, but I would say that the academic year just tests you, like being able to stick to your routine and show up every day, and then being an athlete on top of that. Here, I think I had more time to look into stuff that I like. Books like Relentless. I've had more time to look into stuff that I actually want to look into, rather than having to stay up till 11 p.m. reading about mechanical engineering. I hated that class, but I mean, you got to do what you got to do there. But here, it's like understanding it more from a baseball side. So I would say I'm about the same, but it's just a different way.
Do you ever tell the guys here they don't know how good they've got it?
Yeah, all the time. I think they understand it too, though, and especially the freshmen. Like this, or I guess all of them, all the guys who didn't transfer in or whatever. Like understanding, like you just came from high school and now you're here. This is the peak. This is as good as you're gonna get it, probably in baseball. Definitely, until you get to the big leagues. Like this is really cool. And so again, like going back to just enjoying every day, like just trying to develop that culture and like make everybody realize here how special this place is.
Thanks, man.
Yes, sir.
Thanks, Paul.
Thank you.